Hello, today we are learning about dementia. So the dementia book is very detailed, so I try to divide it in sections so it's easier for all of us to digest it. The first part is dementia module 1. Module 1 includes lesson 1, 2, 3, and 4. So I'm gonna cover all those today. This is the book, as you can see, this is a DCHS book. You can get this book, you can call this number, or you can go to this website and order it, or I have it too, you can get it from me. And with this, so I also send you a PowerPoint that has a very good about this book, so please follow me with that. Module 1, Understanding Dementia. Introduction. Dementia is caused by a disease that affects the brain. It's important to remember that people with dementia are real people with a real feeling. So it's good to remember that. Did you forget where you put your car keys one day, or did you forget your appointment, or did you walk in the room and forget, why am I here? It happens a lot. Forgetfulness is more common when you are physically ill, tired, stressed, distracted, or depressed. But all this forgetfulness doesn't mean that you have dementia. There are a lot of conditions that have a resemblance with dementia because you tend to forget, like depression, delirium, urinary tract infection, MCI, and some medication side effects, excessive use of alcohol, thyroid problem, vitamin deficiency, and more. We can see each one at a time. One of them is depression. Depression, is a treatable illness that involves the body, mood, and thought. It's not dementia, but those people tend to forget, but they don't have dementia. There's no single cause for depression. Often a combination of factors contribute to the onset, like a family history of depression, stressful upcoming events, or certain illness or side effect of medication, even feeling of loneliness or isolation or boredom can contribute to this, but it's not the dementia. Some of the symptoms that come with depression are loss of interest and pleasure in activities, difficulty sleeping or sleeping too much, lack of energy, loss of appetite and weight, being unusually emotionally crying, angry, agitated, expressing feeling of sadness, worthiness, or increased confusion, aches and pain that appear to have no physical cause, expressing thoughts of death or suicide sometimes. But depression, again, I would like to tell you again, it's not dementia. The other one is delirium. Delirium can look like dementia, but is sometimes mistaken for dementia. Delirium is not dementia. It's a medical condition characterized by severe confusion that starts quickly and also is a sudden onset, fast. Most likely it's caused by physical illness, trauma, or reaction to medical condition. The condition requires immediate medical attention. This can occur if delirium goes untreated. Some of the symptoms of delirium are like acute and sudden changes in memory, reduced awareness of the environment, or they becoming very alert, difficulty with attention and focus, change in the person's sleep-wake pattern, visual hallucinations, and delusions. UTI is not dementia. UTI is another one. UTI is an infection that's caused by bacteria in part of the urinary tract, and another name for it is urinary tract infection. Most common in women. If left untreated, infection is spread through the body and it can lead to sepsis. It can become life-threatening. Some of the symptoms of UTI are like sudden change in behavior, confusion. Sometimes their confusion worsens very bad. And they have fever, poor appetite, lethargy, change in mental status, urinary incontinence, burning during urination, urge to urinate frequently, and sometimes pain. If you see those symptoms, those are UTI, they don't have dementia. This is if you see here, this part of the brain is the normal brain, and this part of the brain is what dementia brain looks like. Alzheimer's is one of them. If you look at it, it's shrunk, it's affected. Dementia is not a disease itself, dementia by itself. Dementia is a broad term. It describes symptoms that result when the brain is damaged by disease, injury, or illness. Alzheimer's disease is the most common one. If you see here, this is the brain, and our brain has different parts, and the different parts do what they're supposed to do. Depending on what part of the brain is affected, the dementia client will be affected. If the vision part is affected, the dementia person cannot see. If the hearing part is affected, that dementia person are not able to hear you. Depending on which part is affected, you see the symptoms after it. You see, this is dementia. Dementia is an umbrella. It holds different kind of diseases like Alzheimer's, dementia with Lewy body, vascular dementia, frontal temporal dementia, mixed dementia, and different kinds. It's just an umbrella. The brain has many distinct regions. Each is responsible for different functions. When cells in particular region are damaged, the region cannot carry out its function normally. Different type of dementia are reassociated with a particular type of brain cell damage in different regions of the brain. Dementia is not complete. It's not a normal part of aging. It's not a disease itself. Let's look at Alzheimer's. Alzheimer's is one of the biggest dementia. Most people, when they say Alzheimer's, that means that person has dementia. Alzheimer's disease is progressive disease that's caused by lesions on the brain that clog and prevent communication between brain cells and destroy the brain inside. It is gradual and it's irreversible. It can end in days. The symptoms look like difficulty remembering things, difficulty finding familiar places, short attention span, poor problem solving, wandering, repetitive questions or stories they ask you, collecting behavior, forgetting to eat, suffer or unsteady walking, confusion, forgetting names of people or places, personality changes, mood swings, trouble learning new information, sundowning, that's a confusion at night, and combativeness. All these are symptoms of Alzheimer's disease. These are like typical symptoms of dementia. Most people have Alzheimer's, that's why we see that's a typical one. Vascular dementia is caused by brain damage from cerebrovascular and cardiovascular problems like stroke and other problems that inhibit vascular function. Because of this, the brain will be damaged because of the vascular problem. So their symptoms are very similar to Alzheimer's disease. Protemporal dementia is one kind of dementia. It's linked to degenerative of nerve cells in the front and temporal brain lobes. It's also called Pick's disease. Usually happens at age 45 to 65. Difficult with language. This problem have a difficulty in language and judgment and social problems. They have a problem like that. And some of them are very smart on increasing computer behavior. Motor skill and memory loss are very big problems. And these are different kind of dementia I try to put in just to give you an idea. Mixed dementia is more than one type of dementia occur at the same time. Or Rinkus-Korsavy syndrome. This is memory loss due to deficiency of vitamin 1, most common with alcohol misuse. And HIV-associated dementia is infection of the brain with HIV virus. And Huntington disease is a hereditary disorder. It's one kind of dementia. It happens around 30 to 40 years old. When you are 30 or 40 years old, it's a 50% chance of hereditary. Corticobasal degeneration nerve, it is another one. And secondary dementia comes with other dementia that follow. And generally, when you are working with dementia people, never argue, you never shout, and you never lecture or you never make fun or force a person with dementia to do something they do not want to do. Look for reasons to praise the person with dementia. It will help remind you of things they can still do. Be positive. Your attitude will influence the outcome of any interaction. Let's see about hallucinations and delusions. People with dementia experience hallucinations and delusion frequently. Hallucination is a false perception of objects or events involving the sense that can only be verified by the person experiencing them. This means feeling, seeing, tasting, hearing, things like that. These people can see, can smell, something that you cannot do. So hallucinations are different. The visual, there is visual, that's what they see, and auditory, what they heard. So I got it in a picture like this, as you can see here. This person is seeing these things, but we don't see them. When a person sees a person or other object that's not there, it's called a visual hallucination. When it comes to auditory, you can see this person is hearing them. When a person hears voices or noises that do not exist, that's auditory hallucinations. Now let's talk about delusion. What do you see here? Look closely. If you see here, you can see a vase, but if you look farther, you see two people. So it's very hard to distinguish if you don't see it carefully. Delusions are a fixed false idea based on misinterpretation of situation. Example, a person may believe that the person is somehow in danger or other people want to harm them. No evidence to contrary will convince them it is not true. Do not argue or avoid responding, no, do not see that. It's not really happening, or your kids are grown up, or I do not see what you are talking about, that's not real. All these things, please don't. Do not argue with them. Whatever you answer can contribute to mood and self-esteem problem. So insisting on orienting someone with hallucination to reality may actually escalate the behavior. So you shouldn't argue with the person who's hallucinating. So setting the tone is very important when we are working with dementia people. So setting the tone is like how you provide care is very important to the individual you care for. Your gentle approach, compassion, understanding of the resident current abilities, as well as your past life habits and experience all play a huge part in sensing the individual as a quality life. Positive tone, create an environment that makes it safe and encourage everyone to play an essential role in the care of the person with dementia. As a caregiver, you need to understand, you need to have empathy, dependability, patience, strength, flexibility, and creativity for these people. You as a caregiver, when we say empathy is the ability to understand and share the feeling of another. Example, ask the client to sit with you. Get to know the client, understand them and their feeling even when they are not verbally tell you. Dependability, capable of being relied on, words of trust and stable. Patience, the ability to accept tolerance, delay, trouble or suffering without getting angry or upset. You as a caregiver, you need to have strengths like mental power, moral power, and courage. You need to be, you as a caregiver, you need to be flexible, means willingness to change or compromise. Be creative, the use of imagination or original ideas. It's important to get to know each individual as they are now and honor their past. Avoid making unnecessary changes to the environment. It can add confusion. Now, self-care. It's very important you take care of yourself. Caregiving job is emotionally and physically challenging and requires section attention to self-care. So you as a caregiver, this is a hard job. So you need to reduce your personal stress. You can control how you react to the situation. You cannot change another person, especially a person with dementia. Make change to reduce your stress early. Do not wait until you are overwhelmed. You can work it out, you can talk it out, you can meditate, or do something that you enjoy. Sometimes setting goals helps. Take time to do activities that you enjoy. Communicate effectively. Ask for or accept help from your coworkers, families, managers, or join a group. Or exercise, or do have a good nutrition. Or learn to listen to your emotions. Emotion controls your thinking, behavior, and actions. Find support if it is hard for you. Find more connections, network with peers. In management, join a support group. It's very important. And other things, environment. Environment is very important for the dementia person. The environment can influence the tone. Look at the visual, auditory, sensory stimulation. Is it safe and positive? Things that affect the environment are like noise, aroma, smell, light, temperature, color, pattern, picture, signs, all this affect. So what's the current tone, and can it be sent in a way that encourages life to be lived? Use the environment to encourage community, maximize safety, support, cue specific behaviors and abilities, and reduce challenging behaviors. Provide a variety of activities with a variety of tasks and activities through a careful schedule planning. Okay, now let's talk with families. It's very important to work with families. Dementia has a huge impact on families. The way you interact with families will affect the overall mood of the environment and the satisfaction of the families. The family is central and important source of support in the care of a person with dementia. The single most important thing that families want is that you provide quality care for their loved ones. Help the family to understand that the person with dementia is doing the best he or she can. Encourage family members to take care of themselves. Pass along useful information, such as where to find more information or support groups. Get to know the family. As you can see here, this is called the iceberg. The iceberg represents different parts of a person based on cultural differences, perspective, values, and beliefs. It is the tip of the iceberg that's considered when getting to know the person with dementia. Look, this person has all these characteristics, but when you see the person, the only thing that you see is age, religion, gender, physical ability, race. But how about this language? How about the skill? How about the background, the social class, sexual orientation? All this you don't know. The tip shows you what you see on the surface, but if you take time to know the person, you will find more below the surface. Most families want good communication with caregivers and staff members. Understanding rather than criticism for their coping strategy is better. All families have their own issues and needs, so please understand that. All families may be experiencing their own health problems. They may feel emotionally or physically exhausted or overwhelmed, have a variety of abilities to cope, be experiencing loss and more. So the supporting areas that you can do for the families, like you need to welcome family members and friends, involve the family in a care planning, ask family members about their personal preferences and routines and what they have found to be effective in working with a person. Listen to them, encourage family members to take care of themselves, be gentle with yourself and family members, help family members accept the progressive nature of the dementia, and build trust. Trust is very essential between you and the family to do the job. So this is a model one I covered today. These are the references that I used. Thank you very much. I will see you in the next section.